Good day, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for standing by. Welcome to Alibaba Group's March quarter 2021 and full fiscal year 2021 results conference call. At this time, all participants are on listen-only mode. After management's prepared remarks, there will be a question and answer session. Now I'd like to turn the call over to Rob Lin, Head of Investor Relations at Alibaba Group. Please go ahead.
Good day and good evening, everyone, and welcome to Alibaba Group's March quarter 2021 and full fiscal year 2021 results conference call. With us today are Daniel Zhang, our Chairman and CEO, Joe Tsai, Executive Vice Chairman, Maggie Wu, Chief Financial Officer. This call is also being webcast from the IR section of our corporate website. A replay of the call will be available on our website later today. Let me cover the safe harbor. Today's discussion may contain forward-looking statements. Forward-looking statements involve inherent risks and uncertainties that may cause actual results to differ materially from our current expectations. For detailed discussion of these risks and uncertainties, please refer to our latest annual report on Form 20-F and other documents filed with the U.S. SEC or announced on the website of Hong Kong Stock Exchange. Any forward-looking statements that we make on this call are based on our assumption as of today, and we do not undertake any obligation to update these statements except as required under applicable law. Please note that certain financial measures as we use on this call, such as adjusted EBITDA, adjusted EBITDA margin, adjusted EBITDA, adjusted EBITDA margin, marketplace-based core commerce adjusted EBITDA, non-GAAP net income, non-GAAP diluted earnings per share or ADS, and free cash flow are expressed on a non-GAAP basis. Our GAAP results and reconciliation of non-GAAP to GAAP measures can be found in our earnings press release. Unless otherwise stated, growth rate of all the stated metrics mentioned during this call refers to year-over-year growth versus the same quarter or same period last year. In addition, during the call today, management will give their prepared remarks in English. A third-party translator will provide simultaneous translation in Chinese on another conference line. Please refer to our press release for details. During the Q&A session, we will take questions in both English and Chinese, and a third-party translator will provide consecutive translation. All translations are for convenience purpose only. In the case of any discrepancy, management statement in the original language will prevail. With that, I will turn the call now to Daniel.
Thank you, Rob. Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining our earnings call today. We deliver another solid quarter, making the strong finish to this eventful fiscal year. China started this past year with the national battle against the COVID-19 outbreak and ended the year as the first country in the world to effectively control the pandemic and return to normal life. Based on IMF estimates, China was the only major economy that achieved positive real GDP growth in 2020. According to the National Bureau of Statistics, China recorded retail sales of 42 trillion RMB during the 12 months ended March 31st, 2021, and the GDP growth in the quarter ended March 2021 reached 18.3% year-over-year. Against the backdrop of this macroeconomic recovery and accelerated digitalization in China, Alibaba Group achieved healthy growth across all businesses. During the past fiscal year, we made significant progress in our three key strategies, namely domestic consumption, globalization, and cloud computing. Such progress demonstrated the tremendous power of Alibaba's digital commerce infrastructure, as well as our long-term commitment to invest for the future and to create value for our consumers, merchants, and partners through innovations. For our consumer-facing businesses, Alibaba ecosystem recorded 8.1 trillion RMB in GMV, or $1.2 trillion during the fiscal year, a net increase of over 1 trillion RMB year-over-year. Annual active consumers for our ecosystem reached a historical milestone of over 1 billion, with a net increase of 170 million year-over-year. our annual active consumers outside of China increased by 60 million to over 240 million as of March 2021, which reflects the progress of our globalization strategy. Benefiting from the increasing demand for digitalization across industries, Alibaba Cloud's revenue exceeded 60 billion RMB for past fiscal year, representing a year-over-year growth of 50%, as it continued to strengthen its market leadership in China and Asia Pacific. During the past fiscal year, we have gone through all kinds of challenges, including the COVID-19 pandemic, fierce competitions, as well as the anti-monopoly investigation and the penalty decision by Chinese regulators. We believe the best way to overcome these challenges is to look forward and invest for the long run, for the long term, to create value for our customers through technology and innovation, and to solve major problems in society. Therefore, we plan to invest all of our incremental profits in this coming year into core strategic areas such as technology innovation, support programs for merchants to lower their operating costs, user acquisition and experience enhancement, merchandising and supply chain capabilities, infrastructure development, and new business initiatives. Considering that our incremental profits are expected to be significant, our investments will be highly targeted and disciplined. They will be designed to enlarge our total addressable market, differentiate consumer and merchant value proposition from our competitors, and generate greater consumer engagement and purchase frequency. We will establish key metrics to measure the effectiveness of these investments, which we believe will generate significant results in the long term. Our annual active consumers in China reached 891 million by the end of March. We hope to grow this customer base in China by over 100 million in the coming fiscal year to reach over 1 billion. Annual active consumers for our China retail marketplaces were 811 million by the end of March, representing a net increase of 85 million year-over-year. These consumers spent an average of 9,200 yuan annually per person on our platforms. We believe this is the largest and best quality consumer base in China. We will continue to serve the demands of consumers' diversified lifestyle based on their segmented preferences. As the largest digital consumption marketplace in China, Taobao app will continue to strengthen its comprehensive supply of branded products, value for money products, agricultural products, imported products, and differentiated long-tail products to meet the diversified demands of our consumers. In under-penetrated categories such as groceries, real estate, home furnishings, and pharmaceuticals, we will redefine the consumer journey and digitalize the experience for the sector to enhance its online and new retail penetration. We will also work on improving the overall consumer experience and engagement in Taobao app by offering diversified consumer journeys based on different user segmentation and intent. At the same time, we are improving the tools and enabling capability for merchants to enhance their customer engagement and reviewing our platform policies to lower their operating costs. As part of our China retail marketplaces, Taobao Deals has grown rapidly over the past year, reaching over 150 million annual active consumers. As an indication of the activeness of our app users. Monthly active users of Taobao Deals reached 130 million in March, a net increase of 27 million from December. Taobao Deals offers the best value for money products for price-conscious consumers. It features simple product design and direct-to-consumer supply from farms and manufacturers. The rapid growth of Taobao Deals contributed positively to our China retail marketplaces. During the past fiscal year, average spending of consumers who purchased on Taobao Deals increased more than the average spending of China retail marketplaces consumers. We will further increase our investment in Taobao Deals in the new fiscal year to serve more price-conscious consumers in less developed areas. Next, I would like to talk about new retail, which includes the community marketplace model that has attracted a lot of attention lately. Alibaba introduced our new retail strategies in 2016, and we have executed our strategy based on multiple business models to serve the various demands of consumers. For groceries, fresh produce, and FMCG products, we transformed offline retailers such as Sun Art through digitalizing their operations and created new retail formats such as Fiscal that integrate online and offline experience. The combination of these new retail formats satisfy consumer demands not only in-store but also in nearby communities by offering comprehensive delivery options from 1 hour, half a day, same day, and the next day. As part of our latest exploration in new retail, we started the community marketplace business in select regions in China. Our community marketplace is supported by the supply chain capabilities of Fiscal, Sun Art, and other partners. In addition to 1 hour, half day, same day, and the next day delivery options mentioned above, we now offer community consumers with the option of order today and pick up tomorrow. We believe new retail is a multi-format consumer infrastructure, of which the community marketplace model is one of the essential ways to serve price-conscious consumers. This model can help us acquire new customers in low-tier cities and rural areas and further increase our users' consumption frequency and stickiness. We believe the key to unlocking the full value of the community marketplace model is not only about the standalone P&L of the business, but also about the overall efficiency and the servicing capability of the entire commerce platform where the business sits. And we believe the latter can generate far greater value than the former. Alibaba has the most sophisticated and efficient commerce infrastructure in China, with the most comprehensive product and service offerings to serve consumers of diversified segmentation and demands. Accordingly, we believe we will be able to create and capture the highest consumer lifetime value through investment into the community marketplace business. We will grow this business leveraging Alibaba ecosystem's 4 core capabilities, including merchandising and supply chain capabilities, logistic and fulfillment infrastructure, consumer engagement capabilities, and the distribution channel development and management capabilities. While we are still in the early stage of business expansion, our goal for the new fiscal year is to expand our geographic coverage nationwide and define a healthy and sustainable community marketplace business model. Cainiao Network has delivered solid revenue growth during the fiscal year. Revenue from external customers outside of Alibaba Group grow 68% year-over-year and contribute to over 70% of Cainiao Network's total revenues. Cainiao also reached an important milestone of generating positive operating cash flow during the year. We believe Cainiao's continuous growth will be driven by three important engines. Number one, first mile business based on Cainiao Post and Cainiao Guoguo. Second, fulfillment service from factory to consumers. And third, cross-border supply chain services for importing and exporting merchants. Building on top of the significant improvement in operating efficiency in the last few quarters, Ele.me invested in user acquisition and the logistic capacity during the Chinese New Year period, where many residents were encouraged by the local government to stay in the same city they work and avoid long-distance travel due to the pandemic. As a result, Ele.me's annual active consumer grew strongly at close to 20% year-over-year during the fiscal year when user experience improved. Looking forward, we will continue to invest in Ele.me's consumers' mindshare as the entry point for local service through converting more consumers in Alibaba ecosystem into Ele.me user, as well as cross-selling between food delivery and other on-demand services to increase order frequency. In our international commerce retail business, Lazada and AliExpress each achieved more than 100 million of annual active consumers by March 2021. Lazada delivered another quarter with triple-digit order growth year-over-year. AliExpress continued to achieve rapid growth by significantly improving the logistic experience for its consumers, leveraging Cainiao Network's global smart logistic infrastructure. For example, France and Spain, two of the key markets that AliExpress invested in logistic infrastructure improvement, recorded triple-digit GMV growth year-over-year during the quarter. In the future, we will continue to invest in key cross-border logistic hubs in Europe, develop local logistic network in target markets, and strengthen infrastructure support for our cross-border and local e-commerce businesses. In fiscal year 2021, our cloud computing revenue grew 50% year-over-year to over 60 billion RMB. I'm very excited about the massive potential of our cloud computing business. As the post-pandemic world is facing a massive opportunity for industrial digitalization, cloud infrastructure will eventually replace IT infrastructure, empowering enterprises to achieve digital operation. As China's industrial sector undergoing its digital transformation, manufacturers are moving forward smart manufacturing and direct-to-consumer initiatives, while other traditional industries such as retail, energy, finance, and transportation have all noticed the tremendous value and the new opportunities that big data and intelligent applications could create. Alibaba Cloud will capture the historical opportunity by number one, investing in core IaaS and PaaS products such as database, storage, elastic computing, and big data platforms to establish our core product competencies, benchmarking against the global cloud leaders. And number two, further expanding the integration of intelligence with cloud infrastructure to provide our customers with more diversified industry intelligence solutions together with our partners. Lastly, we announced in April 2021 that we received the administrative penalty decision issued by the China's State Administration of Market Regulation. We have stated that we accept the penalty with sincerity and will ensure our compliance with determination. As a result of the anti-monopoly fine of 18.2 billion RMB leveled by the SAMR, we recorded an operating loss this quarter for the first time since our history as a public company. The penalty decision motivated us to reflect on the relationship between a platform economy and society, as well as our social responsibilities and commitments. We believe the self-reflection and adjustment we've made will help us better serve our community of consumers, merchants, and partners, and position us well in the future. Thank you all. Now I will turn it over to Maggie, who will walk you through the details of our financial results.
Thank you, Daniel. Hello, everyone. Let me start with financial highlights for the fiscal year 2021 and for the March quarter. So our total revenue was 717 billion, an increase of 41% year-over-year. Excluding the consolidation of SunArt, our revenue would have grown 32% year-over-year to 674 billion. This is well exceeded revenue guidance we gave at the beginning of the year, which was 650 billion. For March quarter, our total revenue was 187 billion, up 64% year-over-year. Excluding SunArt, the growth would have been 40%, still very strong. The growth was driven by the robust revenue growth of our China commerce retail business, as well as continued growth of cloud computing businesses. Total adjusted Ebitda was 170 billion, an increase of 24% year-over-year. And for the March quarter, it was 23 billion RMB with an increase of 14% year-over-year, primarily driven by healthy profit growth of our market-based core commerce business, partially offset by increased investments in new businesses and key strategic areas. Total adjusted Ebitda increased 25% year-over-year to 197 billion for the year, and increased 18% year-over-year for the March quarter. So net income was 143 billion for the fiscal year, which includes the one-time fine levied and increases in SBC expenses. The non-GAAP net income for the year was 172 billion, 30% year-over-year growth. March quarter, we showed net loss of 7.7 billion, primarily due to the anti-monopoly fine of 18.2 billion RMB. Excluding this impact and certain other items, non-GAAP net income was 26 billion RMB, an increase of 18% year-over-year. We continue to maintain a solid cash position of $72 billion with strong cash flow generation capability. Our free cash flow grew strongly at 32% to 173 billion RMB, or around $26 billion. Now let's look at the fiscal 21's revenue in more detail. Our revenue continued to be more diversified on the back of strong organic growth. The revenue of our China retail marketplaces continued to grow strongly, as reflected by our customer management revenue growth of 24%. Our Alibaba Cloud and China businesses were the two fastest growing businesses and important drivers of our organic revenue growth. Both have also achieved important financial milestones, with the cloud computing business proving its capability to be profitable in December quarter and continue to showing increasing profit in March quarter, China generating positive cash flow. These two growth businesses exemplify our track record of committing to invest in businesses over the long term that we believe can create tremendous value for our ecosystem. It is important to note that we have continued to invest and grow new seed businesses such as Taobao Deal, Taobao Grocery, Festival Market, which is the community marketplace business, and new features on the core platform, such as Taobao Live and short-form video. These initiatives address new consumption demands and behaviors that will continue to expand our addressable markets in China and create many cross-selling opportunities in our ecosystem. We believe these businesses have the potential to be the long-term revenue growth drivers that continue to catalyze our multi-growth engine in the future. Let's look at our overall cost trends. Excluding SBC as a percentage of revenue, cost of revenue ratio increased in March quarter and fiscal year due to higher proportion of direct sales business. This increase was primarily attributable to higher proportion of our direct sales business from the consolidation of SunArt, as well as the growth of Tmall Supermarket. These direct sales businesses will continue to strengthen our new retail initiatives, especially in the development of our product sourcing capability. Sales and marketing ratio also increased in March quarter and fiscal year, given increase in marketing and promotion spending to drive user growth and engagement. I would like to remind everyone that we added 84 million annual active consumers on our China retail marketplace in fiscal 2021, especially in lower tier cities, with Taobao Deals ending the year with 150 million annual active consumers. G&A expense ratio was significantly higher at 13% for the quarter, primarily due to expensing of the one-off anti-monopoly fine. Excluding this item, G&A ratio would have decreased by 1 percentage point to 4%. Revenue and adjusted Ebitda. This slide provides you with an overall summary of our segment revenue and profitability for the March quarter and fiscal year. For the next part of the discussion, I'll first provide you with an overall financial recap by segments for the fiscal year, and then followed by quarterly discussion of important segments. Let's look at the segment revenue and profitability for fiscal year 2021. Starting this quarter, for purpose of presenting our market-based core commerce adjusted Ebitda, we expanded the list of the new initiative businesses that we break out in order to present the progress of our strategic investments as well as the profitability of our market-based core commerce business. This is on a like-for-like basis. The new initiative businesses, which now include our new retail business, local consumer service, Lazada, Taobao Deal, and Cainiao, represents strategic areas where we are executing to capture incremental opportunities. As previously mentioned, we are very excited about the growth perspectives of these fast-growing businesses that will not only increase our addressable market, but also require long-term investment commitment. We believe these new businesses will be the drivers of our multi-engine revenue growth in the future. So under this new presentation for fiscal 2021, our market-based core commerce adjusted Ebitda was 229 billion, growing 17% year-on-year. Combined losses of strategic investment areas was 34.6 billion, reflecting investment in new retail, local consumer service, Lazada, as well as addition of losses reflecting our aggressive investment in Taobao Deal. Core commerce adjusted Ebitda reached 194 billion. The cloud computing and DME continued to narrow losses and during this fiscal year. Our innovation initiatives recorded adjusted Ebitda loss of 10 billion RMB, up 1.8 billion, as we continue to invest in technological research and innovation. Overall, our adjusted Ebitda for fiscal year grew 24%, reflecting the strength of our core commerce business that was partly offset by the investment we made in the new initiative areas. Segment reporting, I wouldn't go into detail for each one of them, just some highlights. So for the core commerce, CMR grew 40% year-over-year to 64 billion. These are all for the discussion for the quarter. This growth actually is driven by solid growth of our China retail marketplaces. Overall, online GMV was grew 33%, reflecting the rapid recovery of growth in apparel, accessory, and home furnishing category, etc. FMCG also exhibited solid growth during this quarter. From merchant spending perspective, we saw strong growth in higher spending per merchant and an increasing number of paying merchants on our China retail marketplace. In March quarter, China retail others revenue grew 134% to 60 billion due to consolidation of SunArt. In March quarter, marketplace-based Ebitda reached 44 billion, up 28% year-on-year, reflecting solid CMR growth, partially offset by the increase in the marketing promotional spending for user acquisition and increasing engagement on our China retail marketplace. Let's take a look at the cloud computing business. Ali Cloud revenue grew 37% year-over-year to 17 billion during the quarter. This slower revenue growth during the quarter was due to a change in our relationship with a top cloud customer in the internet industry. This customer has a sizable presence outside of China that used our overseas cloud services. They have decided to terminate the relationship with us with respect to their international business due to non-product related requirements. We expect the impact of reduction in revenue from this customer to affect our year-on-year growth rate when compared to prior years. Excluding this customer impact, Alibaba Cloud top 10 non-affiliated customers together accounted for no more than 8% of Alibaba Cloud's total revenue. So you get a sense on this concentration of the revenue is really not high. Going forward, we believe that our cloud computing revenue will be further diversified across customers and industries. Alibaba Cloud was profitable for the quarter and generated an adjusted Ebitda of 308 million RMB. Our cloud business has delivered profits over the last 2 quarters, which demonstrates that we can run this business on a profitable basis. We believe it is still more important to drive market share leadership given the rapid growth of the industry. We will continue to invest in innovative technology, expanding customer servicing capabilities, and enabling a robust developer ecosystem for the cloud business in the future. Our DME business for the quarter grew to 8 billion in revenue, 12% year-on-year growth. This is a sector that's impacted by the pandemic as well. Income statement, selective financial metrics. So when you look at the interest and investment income, it was 111 million RMB in March quarter. This year-over-year increase is primarily due to the decrease in net loss arising from the fair value changes of our investments. Share of results of equity method investees was 6 billion RMB during March quarter. Our free cash flow was an outflow of 658 million this quarter. It was also this was a similar pattern in last year. The cash flow outflow during this quarter was mainly due to our increased strategic investment as well as an increase in marketing and promotional spending for user acquisition and retention, And at the same time, there was merchants deposit funds that, as a practice that we discussed in the earnings release, that we just take it out from the free cash flow calculation. Okay, so let's take a look at the non-GAAP net income attributable to shareholders was 5.5 billion for the quarter. This was mostly due to expensing of 18.2 billion fine, partially offset by the reduced net loss arising from the fair value changes of our investments. Now, outlook and guidance. So total revenue excluding STAR consolidation was 674 billion for fiscal 2021, which, as I mentioned, surpassed our annual revenue guidance. This was driven by robust performance of a core business as well as continued growth of cloud. Going forward, we expect to generate over 930 billion RMB in revenue in fiscal 2022. Considering the total market potential as well as our strong profit and cash flow generation capability, these gives us the internal resources to focus on long-term value creation. In fiscal 2022, we plan to invest all of our incremental profits and additional capital into supporting our merchants and developing new businesses and the key strategic areas that will help us increase consumer wallet share and penetrate into new addressable markets. That completed our prepared remarks. Let's open up for Q&A. Thank you.
Hi everyone. So for today's call, you're welcome to ask questions in Chinese or English. A third-party translator will provide consecutive interpretation for the Q&A session. Our management will address your question in the language you ask. Please note that the translation is for convenience purpose only. In the case of any discrepancy, the management statement in the original language will prevail. 大家好，今天的电话会议欢迎您用中文或英文提问，我们会有第三方工作人员提供实时的翻译。我们管理层会按您提问的语言回答您的问题。翻译的目的是方便大家的理解。如有任何疑义，请以我们管理层原始语音作为程序为准。Operator, now we can connect to the speaker and SI conference lines and start the Q&A session when ready. Thank you.
Thank you. As a reminder, to ask a question, you need to press *1 on your telephone. To withdraw your question, please press the pound or hash key. Please stand by while we compile the Q&A roster. To give more people the opportunity to ask questions, please keep yourself to no more than one question at a time. Once again, it is *1 to ask a question. First question comes from the line of Alex Yao of JP Morgan. Your line is open. Please go ahead.
管理层晚上好啊，我想问一下这个投资方面的问题，第一个是想澄清一下，Maggie 和 Daniel 你们说的把 incremental profit do reinvest， 那是不是一个 zero profit growth 的这样的一个展望？然后第二个的话，咱们也说了很多的这个投资的领域啊，那么今年最主要的投资方向是在哪里？最后一个呢是 Daniel 你也说了这个咱们内部还是会很审慎的看这些投资，然后会有一些这个 KPI 的这些内部的定义。那咱们怎么看，怎么衡量这些投资的回报？然后在这些key KPI 上面能不能谈一下 year to date 的趋势？谢谢。
Thank you and good evening, management. I have some questions on the investment investment side. First of all, I'd like to know if you could please clarify the remarks made, I believe, by both Maggie and Daniel in your presentations as regarding the intention to completely reinvest all incremental profit in the coming year. Does that mean that we're talking about an outlook with zero profit growth in the coming financial year? Secondly, you listed a lot of different areas into which that investment will be channeled. I'm wondering if you could tell us which of those will be the top priorities. And thirdly, Daniel in his remarks spoke of how these investments will be managed in a prudent fashion with internally defined KPIs to monitor investment effectiveness. I'm wondering if you could please tell us more about how that will work, and on those KPIs, how performance has been year to date. Thank you.
Alex 你好，我先回答一下，就是关于我们对这个投入的这个力度的描述，这到底意味着什么啊？另外就是投入的主要领域在哪里？那在我们的业绩公告里面，guidance 里面我也讲了，就是说我们计划把这个利润增量全部投下去。那这个呢，肯定会投资人们会问说，你是以前经常问的啊，你是要利润还是要增长？你这个是不是全部投下去意味着利润打平？那我想是这样，就是要利润和增长这两件事，其实对于我们来讲，也不矛盾。也许在过去几年里面，大家看到了市场上很少有这样的这个公司啊，非常少的这个数量。是在投入很多这个潜在增长的领域，对于未来投入的同时，其实还有这么好的利润增长。那我们现在这个计划投入呢，大家会说你是在说利润打平吗？还是说利润打算下降？我觉得我们是这样看啊，首先市场的潜力还非常大，无论是在核心商业还是在这个其他的领域啊，就即便是核心商业这里面也还是有很多的这个价值提供可以去做。那如果我们今天说我们会保利润，保证利润这个增长或持平或者不下降，我觉得对于真正的长期投资人来讲，会认为阿里巴巴很愚蠢。大家看到这么多的这个竞争对手啊，这么多的这个公司。在发生这么大的亏损啊，巨大的投入到市场中去，而我们现在所谓讲的这个热门的这个领域啊之类的，我们其实的这个能够就是创造的这个价值和我们已经有的这些资源，让我们没有理由不去投。所以归纳起来呢，我们并没有保证说我们利润要增长，还是说持平不下降。但是我们可以保证的是说，我们在投入的时候是highly targeted 是有纪律性的，而且我们是在扩大我们的这个潜力市场。那这一些呢，其实最后都是客户来用脚投票来评分的，所以最后还是会归结到我们的长期的这个收入增长也好啊，利润增长也好。我先停到这儿，请先翻译吧。
Yes. Hi, Alex, and good evening. Let me start by answering as to what we intend to, or what we meant with this announcement of our investment of incremental profits, and what the priorities will be in terms of making this investment. So as we stated in our earnings guidance, we plan to invest all incremental profit in the coming year into growing our business further and investing for the future. Does that mean then that in the coming year there will be no prospect of profitability of profit growth, or will maximum profit growth be restricted to what it was this year? Well, let's look at what we can achieve with this investment first. In the market, as you know, there are very, very few companies that can do what we've done in terms of investing a lot of money into future business growth, into strategic initiatives, while still enjoying very robust profit growth. So I think it's fair to say that there's huge potential for us to further grow, be it in our core market or in other areas. There's still lots of scope and lots of room for us to do new things and grow the business. And I think any long-term investor would say that promising to maintain a certain level of profit or prioritizing a higher level of profit would be a stupid thing to do, because in the market today there are so many competitors who are investing large amounts to gain a foothold in the market, to grow the market, and we're in a great position to create value and capitalize on our existing resources to drive future growth going forward. So that is the intention. We're going to be investing in a highly targeted and highly disciplined way in order to lay a foundation for even better growth going forward. And at the end of the day, users will vote with their feet. So we see these investments ultimately as playing out in terms of growing the business and more deeply engaging users.
另外就是投入的领域，我想这个有不同的角度来看投入领域啊，就是从业务的角度看呢，我们在这个核心商业内部，大家看到了我们在新零售的这个投入领域，目前所说的这个所谓的团购业务、社区的这些业务，这个其实只是我们新零售业务的一部分。刚才 Daniel 也讲过了我们的看法。另外的投入领域包括像我们国际业务，像我们的那个淘宝特价版。像这个本地生活，像我们的物流，这些我们都会持续的投入。
And then, by way of follow-up in terms of the specific areas we intend to be investing in, as we've talked about, certainly core commerce, new retail, as Daniel mentioned in his remarks, the community marketplace business, Taobao deals, but also our international business, local services and logistics.
对，另一个角度是不是从业务看，就是说我们最后投入到底要获得什么样的结果？那我们最终还是要有消费者的这个user base， 同时他们的这个 engagement 增长，还有就是商家从我们的服务中获得价值。
And then another way of breaking down the investments, not by business, but in terms of the results that we seek. Certainly these would include growth in the user base, enhanced engagement, as well as the provision of more value to merchants.
好，我再补充一下，就是关于整个的这个投入啊，就是我想这个我们围绕着3个大的战略。无论是这个内需，还是这个全球化，还是这个高科技啊，我们其实都在这个上面，就是刚才我已经在这个 script 里面讲到了，就是我们都会进行这个投入啊，因为在这3个领域我们都看到巨大的一个增量的机会。
Yes, I'd just like to add to that briefly. When it comes to making these investments, we do have 3 major strategic priorities. As I mentioned in my script, these are domestic consumption, globalization, and the cloud or high advanced technology part of the business. And we intend to be investing in all 3 of those because we see large incremental opportunities.
在这个内需领域啊，其实首先我们尽管现在已经到达了这个中国已经到达了 AAC 到达了8.9亿啊，在中国这个广义的消费市场里边，阿里巴巴的这个生态里边各种业务平台加起来8.9亿，这是这个季度我们的最新的数字。但实际上我们来看这个在这个按照购买频率来讲啊，怎么样把这8.9亿的用户变成不是只是 AAC， 而是这个月度的这个购买用户 MAC， 甚至每天的购买用户啊，我觉得这中间有巨大的潜力啊。这个在不同的品类在消费的不同的品类上面的这样的机会啊，我觉得这个是 就像我说的，中国最广大的和最有消费能力的消费者不同的消费的层次能力的消费者都在我们的平台上，我们怎么样增加这样的一个频率？所以从这个角度上，购买频率这个的增加是我们非常重要的一个视角。
Starting with the first of those three strategic priorities, namely domestic demand, domestic consumption, our AAC number has now reached 890 million in China. This is the latest total figure across the ecosystem, all of the different platforms, an aggregate AAC figure of 890 million. However, there's still a lot of scope to grow the frequency of purchase and engagement of these 890 million AACs to convert them into MACs, monthly active consumers, or even DACs, daily active consumers. So huge scope for development there. We have today within this user base the broadest and largest multi-tiered consumer base in China. So as I said in my remarks, a major priority for us in further developing that user base is to continue to drive higher levels of purchase frequency across all classes of consumers.
同时这个尽管在中国的内需市场我们已经有 8.9 亿的这个年度购买用户，但是实际上在广大的这个低层级的城市和农村还是有巨大的这个人口空间就像我们说到的去年的这个财年当中，我们在China Retail Marketplace 增加的8400-500万的用户当中，其实 70% 是来自于这个低层级的地区，而我们认为我们认为这样的这个空间还非常大我们仍然会去增加这个新的用户，所以我也说了，我们希望在未来的财年能够在中国率先做到10亿的年度购买用户这个是指新用户的增加，这也是我们第二个投入的地区这个投入的领域。
And then, although we already have 890 million AACs, still there is quite some scope for further growth in that figure with respect to users in lower tier cities and in rural areas. In fact, in my script just now, I reported the growth achieved in the past year in our user base, and 70% of those new users came from rural areas. So we will continue, as I said, to strive to grow the user base, adding new users, and have set as a target surpassing 1 billion AACs in the new financial year.
对，在这个除了消费者的这个成长以外和这个消费频次以外，我们在商家的成长，包括在这个减轻商家的这个负担这个降低商家的经营成本上，我们也这个为了长期的发展这个商家的这个可持续性的发展，我们也是有各种的这个措施有些已经公布了这个我们正在这个陆续的这个做到，希望能够给商家更宽松的经营环境这个也是我们投资的一个方向。
Apart from growing the number of consumers and their frequency of consumption, another important initiative for us is helping merchants by reducing their burden, reducing their costs, as well as creating, facilitating and conducive environment for their long-term development and success. In this respect, we will have many measures. Some have already been announced, some have yet to be announced, but they all aim at helping merchants.
对，这个除了这些以外，我想在内需领域，我们还有这个包括我们的基础设施建设这个物流的体系的建设，包括我们的供应链和采销能力的建设。我想这些都是为了长期的这个用户的价值的这个发现和用户的需求的满足我们会继续去做这个时间关系我不展开了这些方面我们都会有相应的这个目标和 KPI 来 monitor 我们的这个进展。
Finally, also in the same area of domestic demand and domestic consumption, Another place we'll be investing is in the continued construction and improvement of our infrastructure, our logistics, our supply chain and merchandising capabilities. This is also an important area where we can discover and satisfy user demand and create long-term value for users and for the company. In the interest of time, I will not expand any further. I will merely end by saying that we will put in place detailed KPIs to monitor all of these investments and ensure that they're conducted in a disciplined fashion.
对，还有就是这个讲的都是在内需的领域啊。第二个领域在全球化的领域，我们现在已经很高兴看到我们的 AAC 在海外已经占到了2.4亿上面，我们会继续的投入去增加我们在海外的消费者基数，这个我们希望这个能够在未来的几年能够尽快的 double 在海外的消费者的基数。
So the above was always with respect to the domestic consumption piece of our strategy. Turning now to globalization, as was mentioned in my speech earlier, we're very pleased that we now have 240 million international AACs, and we hope to double that figure going forward. So growing the international user base is also very important to us.
这个在整个的这个技术领域我们特别是在云计算这个是一个时代的机会所以我们还是在核心技术上，特别是云计算的技术、大数据的技术上，还是会增加投入包括我们在这些投入不仅是涉及到云，也会在高技术的在科技的投入上，也会对这个下一代的消费体验对物流对这些方面，我们会在技术上我想这个就是能够这个进行投入这个是我们坚信这样的技术上的投入会使我们的内需的这个增长，使我们的全球化的进展，使我们的云的增长都是能够受益于技术的发展，特别是核心技术的发展。这个我就讲这些，谢谢。
Finally, I'd like to talk briefly about technology. We see the cloud as an epoch-defining opportunity, and we'll continue to invest in cloud technology, but also in big data and other kinds of technology as well, including technology to enable the next generation consumption experience to better support logistics services and in other areas, to ensure that technology is supporting the realization of our domestic consumption strategy, our globalization strategy, as well as our cloud and high-tech strategy. We want to enable all of these strategic areas to benefit from further improvement in our technology capabilities.
Okay, next question, please.
Thank you. Yes, our next question is from the line of Thomas Chong of Jefferies. Your line is open. Please go ahead.
Hi, good evening. Thanks, management, for taking my questions. May I ask about the trend in terms of the CMR? Given that we have seen the CMR growth rate is very solid, can you comment about the FY22 outlook? In particular, how we should think about the take rate trend for this year? And my second question is about the competitive landscape. Given that we have a wide product selections and very strong technology, how would we leverage our core capabilities in different areas like lower tier cities penetration, as well as our strategic initiative in local service and Lazada? Thank you.
管理层晚上好，谢谢你们接受我的提问。我第一个问题呢，想要了解一下客户管理收入 CMR 这一方面，未来一年的一个展望。我们也看到这个现在 CMR 的这个数字还是非常扎实。那么在22财年当中，这个展望如何？特别是 take rate 方面趋势怎样？那么第二个问题呢，就是说是关于竞争格局这一方面因为我们阿里的话呢，这个产品 供应的这个面非常的广，这个品种非常的丰富，我们又在科技这一方面呢很强，那我们怎么发挥这些优势，更好的来进入低线级的城市开展战略布局。
Yeah, hi Thomas. In terms of CMR growth, you've seen that we reported 24% year-on-year growth for the quarter, and if you look at the past few quarters, has been growing strongly considering this large base. I believe the CMR growth is going to be continue to have high potential. If you look at this revenue, actually the TAM is merchants' budget, right, to pay for the services and we provided. Currently, our take is somewhere around 4%. This is mainly where merchants paying for the sales and marketing branding services were provided. So even in this sole area, we still have a lot of potential. And there are also other areas that we could provide merchant service. So take rate has been growing over the past years. I think this year, as we talked about, we're going to provide more support to the merchants. In our last call, we talk about the details on how we support the merchants, these including waiving certain charges, fees, and also invest in the platforms and infrastructure to support merchants. So we're not aggressively monetizing the value we created for the merchants actually. The one thing worth to mention is that CMR currently accounts for approximately 43% of our total revenue. If you look at 5 years ago, it used to be like 70%, 80%, right? So it has been growing very fast. It's as a percentage of revenue coming down. I think that trend will continue. That is because of our multi-engine strategy. We have so many new businesses and revenue contributed from these new seeds that become more and more important and significant to our total revenue.
好，谢谢你的问题。那么关于客户管理收入 CMR 的增长，刚才我们也是报告了，本季度呢是同比增长24%。那么如果看看过去各个季度的话呢，其实也是一直都有比较强劲的增长，尤其是考虑到本来的基数较高。那么我想未来的话呢，还是有维持较高增长的这样的潜力。那么如果看一看这一部分收入，就是它其实是一个商家支出的一个预算它以此来购买一些服务。那我们的 take rate 4%，这个等于是我们提供一些销售营销、品牌打造等服务可以收取的这个费用。那么这一方面也是有进一步提高的这个空间。当然还有其他的领域，我们也可以为商家提供服务。那么这些年来的话呢，我们的 take rate 是一直在提高。那么今年我们已宣布呢，我们将会加大对商家的支持。在上一次的电话会议当中，我们已经提到其中的一些措施，比如说会免收商家的一些收费，我们还会投资于我们这个平台基础设施和一些支持的措施。因此可见呢，我们为商家创造的这些价值，我们并没有说在积极迅猛的在进行变现。那么看一下我们的客户管理收入 CMR 现在占总收入的百分比为43%左右。那么 如果呢看看前几年的时候呢，这个数字曾高达70%-80%左右。所以一方面呢，我们 CMR 它是在较快的增长，但是呢，与此同时，它占总收入的这个百分比在下降。我认为这样的趋势呢，还会继续延续下去。那么原因呢，是我们正在推行的这个多引擎的一个增长战略。那么新兴业务的话呢，是不停的在蓬勃发展，他们占总收入的百分比相应也在提高。
Yeah, just one minor correction. The 24% year-on-year growth is for the annual fiscal 2021. For this quarter, the growth rate for CMR was 40%.
不好意思，我再补充纠正刚才说的一个数字，就是刚才讲的那个 CMR 增长24%这个数字，那是针对财年21财年全年而言的一个数字。那么实际上季度这个增长是同比达到40%。
Let me answer the second question in terms of the technology, how to apply technology into the competition. Actually, we always believe that technology is so critical in the competition, and we are proud of our technology development and integration with the real operation, and even in the fierce competition. So let me just give you a few examples. In the domestic consumption area, actually one of the key things is how to acquire and retain the customers and on our China retail marketplaces. But the key thing is how to use technology to match the most comprehensive product offerings we have on our platforms with the right customers and generate the real consumption. So the matching capabilities is all driven by AI and driven by technologies. So I think that's our big advantage to make sure we have a most effective, conversion. Over years, our conversion rate and continue to grow, and which not only to grow our GMV but also to meeting the diversified demands of our customers. The second example I want to give you is that once we acquire new customers, it's all about how to maximize the lifetime value of these customers via cross category setting opportunities. And so in this regard, we have these we build a very comprehensive user profile and a product features profile to make sure we can understand our customers very well and provide all they need during their lifetime cycle. Let me stop here for translation.
好的，我来回答你刚才提到的第二个问题，也就是说我们如何利用技术来增强我们的这个竞争力。那么阿里一直认为技术是关键，我们也非常自豪就是能够有如此强大的技术开发的能力，并且能够在竞争激烈的一个市场环境之下，能够不停的把研发的新技术整合到我们实际的运营当中。那么在国内这个消费内需这一块来讲，一个大的问题就是如何不停的获取新客，如何留住我们中国零售市场上的这些消费者。那么这一方面，我们则要利用我们的这个技术优势来进行很好的匹配，那么抓住消费者的需求。我们现在这个就是产品供应非常丰富，我们这个用户基础也非常巨大，我们靠的是这种完全自动化的以 AI 人工智能驱动的这样的匹配技术，来不停的逐年的在提高和优化我们的这个转化率。那么一方面可以提高我们的交易额 GMV， 同时也可以呢满足更多不同客户更多元的不同的这个需求。那么这是第一。那么第二，在 获得新的这个消费者之后呢，我们另外一个关键的考虑就是如何可以使每名客户他的这个生命周期价值最大化。那么这里面你要进行很多的交叉销售和运营。那么为此我们会建立每个用户的这个画像，然后了解他的需求，结合这个不同产品的这个特性，能够不断的为这个客户呢这个提供他所需要的新的这个产品和服务，进行个性化的这个运营。
Well, but technology application is not limited to the consumer management side. Actually, it's covered all the areas. Just a few more examples. For example, on the logistics side, and technology actually play a very important role for Cainiao to build a smart, data-driven logistic network and operating system, and to serve our merchants as well, both in China and in international market. And on the cloud side, I think technology is a key. As I said in my script, we continue to invest in technology to build our competitive advantage in the arts and parts products. But this our benchmark is not only in China. Actually, we benchmark the global leaders in all of their core cloud products, and to make sure we are at the top tier of the world. Thank you.
那么技术方面的优势呢，不仅局限于这个消费者运营这一方面，还在其他领域也非常的关键。举例来讲，就是物流领域，对菜鸟而言呢，技术非常的重要，靠的是领先的技术才能打造智能的数据驱动的物流网络和这个体系，以及它的一个运行网络，从而能够为国内和国际的这个商家提供最好的服务。同样，在云这一方面，技术也我们一直都在说是关键。我们刚才我的这个书面发言稿当中也讲了，我们不停地投资于云方面的技术，包括 IaaS、PaaS 的产品方面在这些产品方面，我们不仅对标国内，我们还对标国际上最领先的这些竞对他们的核心云产品，从而确保我们的这个产品处在同类产品的这个当中最好的之一。
Okay, next question.
Thank you. Next question is from the line of Jerry Yu of UBS. Your line is open. Please go ahead.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, management. Yeah, my question is really on the business model. If we look at the recent past years, we've seen an increase in the 1P revenue mix, right? As Alibaba consolidates SunArt and as we grow Hema or Fiscal. So today we talk about investing in community marketplace, and from the presentation it looks like the providers of groceries and FMCG into this business includes also SunArt and I believe Hema as well. So as we invest in these high frequency categories, how does this change the long-term business model? How do we envision the ecosystem looking long term? And maybe more specifically, do we have a target 1P, 3P mix in mind? Thank you.
好，非常感谢管理层。我这个问题呢是想进一步了解你们的这个就是业务模式这一个变化。最近几年我们知道直营业务就是所谓1P 的这个业务占收入的百分比呢在不断的提高。尤其随着这个高新零售的这个并表盒马这个业务的扩大，那么今天你们还讲到这个社区电商业务你们要来做新的这个投入。那么我想在这个社区电商业务当中肯定也是 不开这个高鑫零售还有盒马他们来提供这些日常必需品、生鲜快消品等等。那么想要知道未来的话呢，这样就是一直演化下去。那么长期来讲，我们这个1P 和3P 的这个各占的比例大概会怎样？我们的生态系统会是怎样？然后未来的话呢，这个直营和3P 的业务，你们有什么样的一个目标吗？谢谢。
In short, we don't have any specific goal for 1P, 3P mix. We strongly believe that this mix is an organic result outcome of operation, and we don't manage the 1P, 3P mix intentionally. Over years, we built our two flying wheels in our consumption business. One is continues to build the capability to manage the customers smartly and efficiently. And in this regard, we said how to create the demand. So the demand side, we continue to invest to improve our user interface with creativity and with technologies. And we strongly believe that it's very important for us to enhance our engagement with our customers, not only to have more customers on our platform, but also to have them spend more time with us. And we strongly believe that a very diversified supply from the merchants from different sources is very, very important, and the selection is very, very important to enhance the user stickiness. So I think that's the area we continue to invest and to build a capability on the customer management and demand creation. And on the other hand, over years, we try to build a very strong, merchandising capabilities and supply chain management capabilities, which we believe actually over years, no matter how frequency, how change the user interface will be, the efficient supply is a must to do a successful commerce business, including e-commerce business. So that's why we invest a lot to build our supply side capabilities, and we believe that these capabilities, the advantage of these capabilities will not change, even with user interface upgrading and change. So these are two flying wheels to Alibaba. I'm so proud that maybe we are one of the few companies in the world which have the excellent, consumer management capabilities, but at the same time has this merchandising and supply chain management capabilities in one company and in one team. I think that these two flying wheels are the critical successful factor for our long-term growth.
那么总而言之呢，我们对于未来这个1P 和3P 各占的比例呢，没有特定的目标，我们也不会为这样的一个目标去做任何主动的管理。我们认为最终是什么比例就是一个有机各种业务有机增长的一个自然的一个结果。那么其实对阿里来说，我们业务增长呢一直都是依赖于呢两个所谓的飞轮。那么第一个的话呢，就是我们很好的一个客户运营，我们能够以这个非常智能高效率的方式来管理和运营我们的客户。那么如何这个创造需求，一方面就是要靠我们的技术去了解这个我们的这个用户，深挖我们的这些洞察，同样非常重要的就是要不断的提高他们的参与度，因为不光是在于说这个消费者的规模有多少，还要看他们这个在平台上投入的这个时长和参与度。那么另外的话呢，第二个飞轮就是说我们在产品的供应方面，还有商家的这个方面，非常的多元，非常的丰富。我们相信这一点呢，对于提高用户粘性 也非常的这个重要，所以我们也是不停的在这些方面做投资那么加大我们客户管理和这个需求创造方面的能力那么这些年来我们也一直不停的在加强呢我们这个商品和供应链方面的这个能力因为这个无论这个用户是多少，他的互动频率或参与率多高那么必须有这个高效率的这个供给能力。那么对于任何的这个零售业务来说，这个是必要的一个关键前提，包括电商也是如此。因此的话呢，我们也不停的加大投资来加强发展集团在供给面商品和这个供应链这一方面的这个能力那么阿里巴巴应该说感到非常的自豪，我们拥有这样2个飞轮，应该说我们是世界上仅有的这样的公司之一吧就是说我们既拥有非常强大的这个消费者运营管理的能力，又拥有非常好的这个商品和供应链方面的这个能力，是一家公司融于一身，而且是一个团队在抓这2个飞轮。未来我们认为这2个飞轮也是公司长期增长取得成功的关键。
Next question.
Thank you. Next question is from the line of Han-Chu Kim of Macquarie. Please go ahead.
Great. Thank you for your time today. I wanted to ask about Taobao Deals. I think it's been one of the fastest growing apps in last year. And are you guys empowering it to kind of grow to 700, 800 million kind of users over a few years, or do you just kind of see it as something that could stabilize around 200?
Sorry.
Hello?
I'm just sorry to interrupt. Can you repeat your question? Maybe get closer to the mic.
Sure. It's regarding Taobao Deals. I'm wondering if we are empowering it to try to grow to 700, 800 million users over a few years. Or
sorry, your mic still very noisy.
Hopefully this is a little bit better.
Yes.
Sorry, just to repeat, for Taobao Deals, just wondering if this is a business you're empowering to try to get to kind of 700, 800 million kind of user base in a few years' time. And if that's the case, how do we see this interacting with, I guess, Taobao and Tmall in the sense of as Taobao Deal grows, do we see any kind of cannibalistic behavior to our own services? And, part of this is also, I don't feel like I'm seeing your competitors in that similar space being particularly impacted as Taobao Deal grows. So I'm also kind of thinking how this impacts perhaps the competitive landscape as well. Thank you.
好，谢谢。想了解一下这个淘宝特价版，你们会不会是在考虑，比如说过些年，把它赋能到7亿或8亿的这样一个用户的一个规模？那么如果是这样的话呢，未来淘宝特价版和淘宝天猫的关系将如何？会不会淘宝特价版的发展会不会侵蚀到这个原来淘宝天猫的一些这个业务？那么另外也似乎没有看到淘宝特价版的发展对于竞对有什么特别大的影响？那么不知道未来这个竞争格局将会怎样？
Well, the value proposition of Taobao Deal is very clear. It's for price-conscious consumers, and we provide on Taobao Deal's platform the value for money products for these, price-sensitive customers. And in terms of supply side, actually we focus on manufacturers and farmers and their direct offer and end-to-end to the customer in the which care more about price. So I think the value proposition and and the simple consumer journey, shopping journey, I think is a key for Taobao Deals. And we are very happy to see the progress we made during the last year. And as I said, our MAU in March reached 130 million, and for the entire year, our annual active consumer reached 150 million. So I think that's a good start. And because China is so big and with so many population with different consumption power and with different segmentation and preferences, so we try to, as part of Alibaba China retail marketplaces, we try to provide multiple destinations to the customers with different purposes. So I think Taobao Deals is a good supplement to other application, other business we have in China retail marketplaces. And in terms of the incremental value we create from Taobao Deals, I just give a good example in my script to you, which is the average spending of our customers on Taobao Deals. The increase rate of this spending for the customers on Taobao Deals is bigger for those and spend for the average spending on China retail marketplaces, which indicate that if we give people multiple choices, that overall the total spending within Alibaba ecosystem will be bigger. So that's a very good indicator, and so that's why we will continue to invest in Taobao Deals. And as to whether this have any impact on other players, I think it's very important that we on Taobao Deal, our goal and value proposition is very clear and straightforward and even simple. So we are confident the impact is coming, and because for these customers, they just need a simple choice and price sensitive and price advantage. That's it. So we will strengthen this value proposition on Taobao Deals. While on Taobao mobile app, our flagship, I think we provide more comprehensive offerings to different segment customers, and they will enjoy more selections and more funds. So the value proposition are quite different. And we are, as I said, our goal is to build a matrix, a application matrix to serve the customers with different needs. Thank you.
好，谢谢。我想淘宝特价版它的价值主张非常的清楚，就是说它是针对这种对价格比较敏感的消费者，能够为他们提供这种性价比高的一些商品。那么在供给这一方面的话呢，它的一个聚焦点就是工厂和这个农地可以直供给到这些价格敏感型的这个消费者。所以呢，它的这个价值主张应该说是非常简单和明确，它只是给这样的一些寻求高性价比的消费者一个非常简单的一个购物体验，这就是淘宝特价版。那我们很高兴看到说过去的1年当中，这个淘宝特价版它的 MAU 已经达到这个 1.3 亿，那么全年来讲它的这个AAC 的数字也是达到了 1.5 亿，我想这是一个很好的起步。那么中国呢是个人口大国，这个地缘非常广袤，那么有这么多不同类型的这个消费者，购买力各不同，所以我们认为呢这种布局呢是非常合理的，可以呢去满足多种不同的消费者，不同层次的消费者满足他们不同的这个偏好。那么在这个意义上呢，淘宝特价版应该说是我们整体中国零售市场这个平台一个非常好的一个正面的补充。那么这样的 一个淘宝特价版它能够为我们带来什么样的价值呢？其实刚才我在发言稿当中也提了，就是说淘宝特价版上用户这个平均购买金额的这个提高是高于整体中国零售市场这个RP 同期的这个提高。那么这个说明什么道理呢？说明如果我们能够给到人们更多的选择，那么在我们整个生态系统当中，总体的这个消费水平是会有所提高。因此我们会继续投资于淘宝特价版。那么你还问到这个会不会对别人带来影响？那我想淘宝特价版我们的这个目标非常的明确，非常的清晰，我们也很有信心这个所谓的影响呢是马上会到来。那么淘宝和天猫作为我们的这个旗舰平台的话呢，它的产品选择更加的丰富多样，所以跟淘宝特价版的价值主张呢还是非常不同。那我们的目标呢就是形成一个矩阵从而呢能够覆盖到所有各类不同消费者的不同的需求。
Okay, well, thank you everyone for joining today's call. We have all the materials that will be provided in our IO website. We look forward to communicating with you in the coming months. Please contact me and the IR team, Alibaba. Thank you.
Thank you. This concludes today's conference call. Thank you for participating. You may now disconnect.